ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Race Spot TV Friday Primetime. It's the Skip Barber Formula 2000 series here on iRacing. I'm Connery Maddock. I'm joined by Ryan Walker for this one. We're heading to Brands Hatch for this round of the Skip Barber Racing School Championship, the 3.7 mile circuit, kilometer circuit, excuse me, in the UK. 9 turns to contend with. We are using the full layout here of Brands Hatch. No Indy shenanigans this time around. Ryan, we're just about getting ourselves ready for the end of qualifying here, but a fantastic venue for these cars to take place.
Yeah, absolutely. Brands Hatch, a fantastic track. Formerly famous for hosting the British Touring Car Championship in real life and other various series, and tonight it will be using the full layout as well. So I think with these Skip Barber cars tonight, it'll be an absolute draft fest and we should be in for some fantastic racing.
Of course, we got ourselves at least coverage of the end of qualifying here. We've got currently provisionally pole position. It's Gerardo Ramos right at the top of the timing sheets right now, and just pipped to the post, just as I mentioned it, by none other than Simon Edwards as that number 1 car in the session. But you can see the current schedule up on screen for you now. You see we've already had Lime Rock Park, we've already had Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and now for the final race of the year here in 2019, we head to Brands Hatch, and then in the new year, January 3rd, we'll be going to the Super Circuit, and then you can see other big circuits further down the list as well. You see, we turn to UK with Alton Park near the end. You also get Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, and of course the Silverstone National Circuit at the very, very tail end of the season. So certainly a lot to look forward to here on Race Spot TV Friday Primetime. You can see the current qualifying standings on the left-hand side screen of your screen right now, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. We only have 3 cars out there on circuit, so it looks like this is going to be the order, Ryan.
Yep, as just looking at the stands at the moment, on pole position it's Simon Edwards, who we all know from the Skip Barber and the Monday Night Skippy League. He's really quick in this car and he can never be counted out of taking a win or doing well in this series. But I think there's some other people to keep an eye out as well. People like Chris J. Robertson and also Sasser Gall as well. So a few people to keep a lookout for, Connery.
Yeah, certainly lots to keep an eye on. Of course, we got ourselves 19 cars in this session, and we're just about half a minute away from getting ourselves ticked on over to that race session. But usually this track does play some host some absolutely brilliant side-by-side racing, and hopefully we get to see that here as well. Of course, the strength of field being around about 4,175 here, so a lot of big names in the Skip Barbers certainly turning out, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge strength of field, as you mentioned, Connery. Quite a few drivers that are really quick in this car. Last week, I believe Tim Gorkroger started at the back at Montreal last week and managed to come through to finish in P2, so he could be another person to watch out for to come through the field.
Yeah, can certainly be one to make an impact. But here is your starting grid then for this week's race. Simon Edwards pole position with Gerardo Ramos in P number 2. Sasha Gole starts in P3 with Marco Derricks in P4. As you cycle things back, you've got Nick Thyssen starting in 5th today with Sarah Savage in 6th place. You've got Erhan Jagovski there in P number 7 with Ben Snell in P8. Lee Anderson starts P9 with Cristobal Otero starting inside the top 10. You got Christian Perez on the outside looking in with Martin June and Sven Duas there, bringing things down to P13. Borja Zazo, P14 for him. Chris Robson starts in P15 with Daniele Fogarini, P16. Andy Witt starts in 17th here today. And then you have 2 drivers that did not set themselves qualifying times. That's Tim Gorkoga and you've also got George Majazinski right at the very tail end of the field. So that is your 19-car grid here for today's race, and well, they're already taking themselves to the starting grid here. Simon Edwards will have that preferred line coming down in towards turn number 1, but it can be a pretty sketchy turn 1 as far as turn 1 goes, Ryan.
Yeah, it can be as you say, a sketchy turn 1. As we just wait for the cars to go, and away we go for this evening's race.
Here we go then, and well, it's an uphill start for the front row, of course, as you have to ride the crest on the way in towards turn 1 for the first time. But Simon Edwards able to get away well here in this situation. We see a little bit side by side. Just a little bit further back as well as they head in towards Druids for the first time, and it's calm at the front, but it's anything but inside the mid and of course the very tail end of the pack as well as they work their way through, but I'm seeing no heavy casualties just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking throughout the field, and yeah, it looks like everyone's made it through the first few corners unharmed. Someone's going for a move up the inside. And yeah, apart from that, everyone seems to have acted sensibly. There's issues at the back.
Yeah, big issues at the back as Christian Perez involved in this one with Ben Snell. We'll see it on the replay up on screen as they head their way through towards the middle sector for the first time. And what has happened here between all these? Is it going to be 2, 3 into 1 doesn't go? No, it was just Snell losing on the outside and causing a little bit of a reaction behind. So there is an opening lap instant, and it's what you've just seen on your screen, but everyone else seems to be continuing on well. You have a breakaway of 3 cars right at the front of the field with Simon Edwards leading them.
Yep, these 3 cars starting to break away at the front, and everyone else behind them are fighting amongst themselves. You also have to remember, Conroy, is the cold tyres and the new tyre model as well. It takes these tyres maybe 2 or 3 laps to really get up to temperature. So yeah, these guys have to remember that.
Yeah, cross the line to complete the first lap. Then you can see that big 3-car breakaway right at the very front into Paddock Hill Bend for the second time here in this race. Of course, that 3 as Simon Edwards, you've got Gerardo Ramos and Sasha Gole all involved in that train on the way up towards Druid. So they've done very well in terms of breaking away from the rest of the pack here early on. You see Nick Thyssen, actually a good couple of cars down on towards the pit lane early here to get some damage repairs. And you can do that in this series. You do get that one fast repair that you can use at any point.
Yep, absolutely. As we look back up at the front at Simon Edwards and Grado, Fabio Ramos and Sasha Gole, as these 3 are slowly but surely managing to break away from the pack behind, and it looks like it could be a three-way fight for the win, but this is still only lap 2 of 15, so yeah, still a long way to go, Conroy.
Yeah, still a long way to go. That old cliche is they're heading their way through of course Westfield Bend and of course then in towards Dingledale as well. And of course these 3, they haven't exactly been scrapping it out just yet. They're just working. Oh, you see on the onboard though of Sasha Gole, just pushing a little bit wide there, and actually we do have a car spun around. That's George Majazinski, so one of the drivers that started right at the back of the grid, thanks to not setting a qualifying time. He's fallen into a couple of issues here, and is that a bit too much? Curve on the exit, big slide on the exit as it does have a little bit of a love tap with the Armco barrier, but he should be able to get that car spun back around and shouldn't really be affected in terms of the damage.
Indeed, there's yeah, it just looks like on the exit he caught his left rear wheel on the gravel and just got sideways and had a little half spin. As yeah, these three guys back up at the front are still scrapping amongst themselves, but they're not really fighting hard at the same time. So and behind them as well, we've got Erhan Jazowski, Marco Derricks and Cristobal Otero battling for it looks like P4. So yeah, kind of there's some battles throughout the field, but it seems that the pack is separated a little bit.
Yeah, it has. You know, you're starting to have, instead of one big train, you just see these groups of 3 cars right now. And, well, you can see one of them working their way through right now. It's involving the number 11. So that's involving Martin Yoon down the inside, and he's been able to get that position picked up. There's a little bit of battling further ahead as well, because now Ramos deciding to have a little bit of a scrap with Gaulle there, and now this is Simon Edwards' time to try and check out.
Indeed, there's Simon Edwards up at the front has managed to make a little bit of a gap, not much, but so
Gaulle! Wow, what a slide coming through Sterling's bend there. And he's somehow able to hold on to that. We'll get a replay up because he was driving the wheels off that thing going through the middle sector, and it almost all came to a head when it coming through this left-hander here. You can see big drift out, big moment on the grass, struggling to keep hold of that car, but he's able to do so and not actually lose a whole bunch of time as a result of that. He's still on the hot on the heels of Ramos up towards Druids, but that's a big scary moment there for Gaulle.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say though, it looked like a sort of mini slide that Colin McRae would be proud of. So, yeah, he managed to hold it and managed to not lose too much time to these 2 guys in front of him. So, yeah, he's still in the fight and he's still up at the front in P3. So, yeah, but yeah, that was a bit of a scary moment for Shasa.
Yeah, and you know, having that on about lap 3 of the race is not exactly ideal, but he's still in this one and still very much in contention, maybe for the race win here at the end of the day. We'll just have to wait and see. Still a while in this race to run yet, that is for certain. But Gaulle, you know, you can see how aggressive he's being. We see a little bit of a shot further back through the pack as well. Because we have that train involving Yoon, involving Anderson, involving Robertson as well. The latter of which is the car that we're on board with right now. So, you know, like I said, it seems like the pack has separated into these trios.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe the incident on the first lap into, I can't remember what corner it was, but yeah, it might have just caused people to slow down and maybe just lose time to people in front of them. But yeah, there's still some packs in the field with some good battles as we ride on board with Chris J. Robertson, who's in P8 at the moment and had a decent start to the race. Chris is maybe not the quickest driver, but he's one of those drivers that it's consistent.
Yeah, you can just see with that onboard with Anderson and Yoon right in front, getting very close and close once again into the braking zone of Druids, but Anderson deciding not to go for the move this time around, and you can see third of a second between them through Graham Hill bends, and well, it's going to be a bit of ground lost there by Anderson, in fact, over Yoon. Yoon's doing a good job at keeping that very pink car at bay for the moment, but it's going to be so tough to drop a car in the draft here at this racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these long straights, if you're stuck behind someone on one of these long straights, you can stay behind them and use the draft to your advantage. And yeah, I think these guys up at the front are using that to their advantage as well. As I think we've had a chance for P2, I believe.
Yeah, we can see and get that up for you now. Yeah, Sasha Gaulle, he has been able to nip his way past. It looks like we're just going to see the replay up on screen. You can see the drafted down the hill into the compression and back up. And that is Gaulle slung down the inside. Nothing really that Ramos could have done to respond to that one. Gole certainly had him beat, and now he gets promoted up into P2. And now what can Sasha Gole do when it comes to that race leader of Simon Edwards? That's the big question.
Yep, a big question indeed. As yeah, he's managed to straight away close the gap down to Simon. So yeah, I think if I was to place a bet on who was to win this race, I think my money would be on Sasha at the moment.
Yeah, he does seem to have quite a bit of speed behind that number 2 car, that's for certain. You can see, look a little bit further down the road, and also you might start to see a little bit of lap traffic that might start come into effect here. You can just see it as they head under the bridge there, and down in towards 10 number 5 Hawthorns for who's going to be the 6th time in this event. But you can just see now Sasha Gole, we're riding on board with him. Just 0.2 of a second separate him and the race lead at the moment, and you can just see how they're playing with fire. In terms of the track limits, they're just very threatening that gravel a lot with those outside tires, and Sasha Gole, well, hasn't been able to make the progress required just yet. You have to remember a couple of laps ago, that's where he had his big moment, but firmly keeping within all the white lines this time around.
Yeah, now you mentioned the outside of the track or every inch of the track. Yeah, I was watching the onboard of Sasha and Simon in front of him. They were just using every inch of the track and getting so close to the gravel, like you mentioned, Conroy. And I think it just shows how much these guys are pushing, and how on the edge they are. It's just, yeah, they're just pushing like crazy to try and not let each other get away or not concede position.
Yeah, you can see as well that that lap traffic becomes maybe a bit more of a problem in the not too distant future, as these guys have basically been the 3-car breakaway at the front of the field since the very start of the race. The next closest car is Yovgoski in that number 10 car, who's currently around about 3 seconds off of these guys, so not going to be catching up anytime soon. So these guys are perhaps free to have a little bit of a scrap amongst themselves, but Sasha Gole is going to go for it. It looks like he is in towards Hawthorns. Is he going to be able to complete the move, though? That's the big question. Side by side for the race lead between Edwards and Gole. They're still going to be side by side into Westfield as well. As you can see, Gole trying to drive it around the outside, and he's been able to make it work. You can see Edwards, he's having to sandwich himself in the middle, but that was a brilliant move there from Gole. Now Ramos looking to get himself involved. He's out into the grass. He has to rejoin, but oh my word, that's a brilliant move.
Edwards.
Let's have another look at it. Let's have a look at this move. Sasha Gole, look at this. Outside line on the limiter grip all the way through there, and the respectful racing room given between the two of them as well, as you can see Sasha Gole completing that move through, and Ramos got quite close to the back of Edwards there as well. But meanwhile, on the live pictures, they're still dueling it out because they're side by side once again in towards Druids. This time Gole on the inside trying to hold off his competitor. Edwards having to go the long way around. Has he got a nose in for Graham Milbendo? I don't think so. And now Ramos looks to try and make an impact as well. He finds the line off the corner. Can't make anything happen. Can he into Surtees? No, he can't. A big wide line taken by your race leader, though. That was a door left wide open, and it looks like the front of the field now the spark has been lit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Simon Edwards' rear wing. He's got a little bit of damage, and yeah, I think that might cost Simon some straight line speed possibly, but he's still managing to keep up with Sasha, and he's trying to make a move up the inside of Sasha. This is absolutely fantastic racing, Connery.
Yeah, he's kind of having to pull off that move in defense because the Ramos was just harassing the back of him, and Edwards pretty much had absolutely nowhere else to go but to go for the move on Gole. Absolutely fantastic scrap for these three, but yeah, you do see it. You can see that little bit of damage to the rear end of Simon Edwards. As we'll get that onboard shot of it. You know, that yellow pen does come out, and well, now it is immediately obvious that Edwards is stricken, has been struck, but damage in these skippies Well, it really does heavily depend on where it is, and if it's just some rear error like that, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem.
Just looking at Sasa now, Edwards and Ramos battling each other is allowing Sasa to slowly pull away him. He's got about a 6 or 7 tenths gap. So, but looking back at the field, we're looking at the battle for, I believe it is P6 at the moment, I think. And yeah, still some fantastic racing going on throughout the field, and not just up at the front.
Yeah, that's Anderson and Robertson having a little bit of a duel in this one. So the battles start to happen here around about the, well, we're well past the midway point of this race. As we can see a bit of lapped traffic involved, I believe. No, actually, that is P5. So Otero, you know, now at the very front of this train, and you can just see that he has quite a bit of damage to the front end of his car. He's missing his nose cone, and maybe something has happened to him here that's dropped him back in the clutches of all these mid-pack cars.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I'm not sure how much it'll hinder Otero. I'm not sure what happened if they've got a replay or not. But Robertson sideways.
Whoa, that's incredible! And wow, Robertson, how has he held on to that? That's absolutely crazy. You'll get a replay up. Man, that was a wild ride. You'll see exactly what happened coming through the middle sector here. 2 tires in the grass, big slide, and the grass also grabbed him for a second time as well, but well done to keep hold of that car when it was almost all was lost.
Yeah, I'm not sure about you, Connery, but just watching the replay of Chris Robertson getting sideways, that made me get a bit of a sweat on. But anyway, yeah, as he's right behind Otero in front of him, and yeah, I have to say 10 out of 10 for saving that. I'm not sure how he kept that, how he stopped that from spinning or even hitting the wall, but fair play to Chris Robertson, that was just superb. Yeah,
it was brilliant stuff, and now he has to go from saving his car to attacking another one. As Otero, the car without a front end at the front of this train, trying to hold on to a top 5 finish, but with a car like that, not sure if that's going to happen or not. Here comes Robertson then in that number 17 car around the outside here. Is he going to be given the space? There's going to be a bit of a slide once again, but he's able to hold on to that car again and still hasn't quite completed the move. Otero will still try to fight him through every single one of these corners possible, but he doesn't have the ground coming off of tin number 6 in towards 7 to be able to do anything. And now you can see Robertson, he can run for the hills perhaps at this point. Just have to hope that Ewan and Anderson actually having to deal with that stricken car just a little bit more. But we go back to the race lead because Sasha Gole now is having to be on the defense as Edwards tries around his outside, but nothing doing around there. Gets a lot of speed off the turn 1 though, able to challenge onto the brakes into Druids. There's absolutely nothing to separate them, but it seems like Gole has the better line off the corner and he's able to secure position. And you can just see that Ramos is here. Is he always the bridesmaid in this battle, or is he going to have a wedding of his own? That's the big question here. But you can just see how deep Edwards went into uncertainties there. He's just wrestled the little inside line away.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic, Conrad. These 3 guys strapping up at the front, battling for the win, but they have to keep an eye on them because I believe that's Erhan Jazowski behind them, slowly catching them.
So it might not be a trio at the front of the field to finish off here, especially if they keep scrapping like this. Sasha Gole leading this one at the moment. Edwards second in line, and Gole. These guys, they're playing with my heart here. With these, we're getting so close to the grass. They're so close to the gravel. They're leaving absolutely nothing out there on circuit. And you can just see Gole. He's got his own fair share of rear wing damage now. So, whole thing's equal between him and Edwards, perhaps.
Yeah, quite possibly. As this Yeah, I'm not sure what to say. I'm just about running out of words, but this battle up at the front is absolutely fantastic, and it's just proven why the Skip Barber is such a fantastic car and fantastic series on iRacing, and it always produces great racing.
Oh no! Oh, that's a massive, massive moment. Edwards takes a spin through the gravel, contact into Paddock Hill Bend. We'll just have to see exactly what has happened here. We're right on board then with Simon Edwards towards the very outside of the circuit, comes down in, car occupies the space, and he goes for a bit of a wild ride. That was Ramos on the inside there looking to try and gain position. We'll get a little bit of a better view of it up on screen for you in just a couple of moments. You can see, there we go. Of course, door is open, but that's a bit of a lunge there, I have to say.
I have to agree as well. I think that was a bit optimistic from Ramos to try and go for that move. Edwards, on the other hand, did leave a bit of a gap, but it wasn't fully open. So, yeah, optimistic from Ramos, and it just ended up in contact, unfortunately. But this might give a chance for Sasha Gold to try and run away with this, possibly.
Well, he'll certainly have a try. You can see Edwards now, he's just been filed back into this very same mid-pack battle that we have been commentating on, the one with Otero trying to hold on to a couple of positions with the damage, but now Edwards is involved in this one, and could be more positions for the taking for the likes of Robertson, of Anderson, of Yoon as well. Could potentially grab this, so it's still a big thing for these guys as coming towards the end of the race now. Just a couple of laps to go here. Things very much undecided in the mid-pack, but seemingly everywhere else. Well, I won't count the chickens until they've hatched here. That race lead battle could still very much be on, but look at this mid-pack.
Yeah, Edwards is falling into the clutches of it looks like Robertson, Yoon, and Anderson as well. So. Yeah, a battle up at the front still for the lead, looking at it, and a battle with Edwards and the guys behind him. So yeah, this race is, it's absolutely kicking off in the closing stages, Connery.
Yeah, it is. So you can see Edwards, Robertson, Ewan in that order, with Anderson in that pink car in the background as well. Absolutely nose to tail between the four of them on the way into the corner here, and you can just see that around the outside goes Robertson on Simon Edwards, and Edwards had absolutely nothing to fight that one. His car is looking a little bit worse for wear. You can see damage to the front end, damage to the rear end, so he's been battered and bruised, but if he could stay in the draft here, then he might just be able to recover a bit of a top 5 finish. But Edwards, he's made a bit of a mistake there, and now he's starting to come under threat from Ewan.
Yeah, just watching Edwards now, and he looks like he's been rattled a little bit just by these cars in front of him, and I think these guys behind him are just putting him under pressure, and it's making Edwards a little bit rattled, and Robertson is pulling away now. But I have to say that move by Robertson on the outside was just absolutely fantastic to watch. Sideways round the corner, but managed to hold it and pull it off, and 10 out of 10 from me for style.
Yeah, you can just see as well, Ewan, they trying to go around the outside at Paddock Hill Bend, but he's still going to be able to challenge on the way in towards Druids. Edwards just trying everything he can to hold on to position here, not lose too much iRacing as a result of dropping through the field. Should still be relatively healthy in terms of that, but being the number 1 car, you can't be too careful. But looking at this, at the front of the field, things are not done. Sasha Gorlet still has to look in his wing mirrors because Ramos is now right on the back of him here in the late stages of this race. We're right on board with the driver of the number 6 as he's been just sitting in the background. Yes, he had that unfortunate contact or that over-optimistic contact with Simon Edwards, but hopefully this is going to be kept all fair and clean then for the race between these two for the very end. We're coming up to 1 lap to go.
Yep, as these guys come up to the final corner to soon start the last lap, and Ramos is trying to go around the outside of Gol into the final corner. Ramos has got the outside, but yeah, I don't think Sasa's going to let this position or possible win go easily.
No, it won't. Ramos again trying to go around the outside, but he's just not quite going to get the speed coming through. Paddock Hill. Ben gets a good exit though. Here comes the big challenge into Druids. Ramos drags it in deep, but Gawler still fights him on the inside. And now coming through Graham Hill Bend, it will be Ramos. He's able to get himself by, but Sasha Gawler, he's not out of this one. And look at the very back, because yes, Yavovsky as well, starting to get a bit of speed here at the very end of the race, so it could still potentially be a 3-horse race here. Ramos leads it for now, but Sasha Gawler, he is an experienced racer in these Skip Barber cars. He can so easily come back. It's gonna have to be around the outside at Hawthorne's Bend. Has he overdone it? No, keeps it within the grey stuff. Still side by side through turn number 6 there at Westfield. You can see Gawler's gone way out the circuit. Oh my word, Ramos, he's been able to hold on, but now this complexion changes. It's the number 10. It's Ethan Yayovsky here. Yayovsky coming through Sterling's Bend. Has he been able to do this on the final lap? It'd be 2 overtakes to be able to do it. Side by side then for the race lead through the final corner of Clark. And oh my word, Ramos has slid his car. Oh, he almost spins out. And against the odds, and Yayovsky from 3rd to 1st inside of the final lap. Oh my word, what have we just seen?
Oh my word, what a final lap, Connery. That was absolutely fantastic, and it was unfortunate to see it end up in contact, but in the final corner. But yeah, Jazowski was there to pick up the pieces, and held on for the win. Whew.
Oof, that was absolutely crazy. He was basically out of the picture with, 2-3 laps to go. There was a little bit of contact as well. That's, a close quarters action coming through the final corner. But in the end, it is Yayovsky coming across the line to take the win. But in a way, some might say that's a little bit of karma there, Ryan.
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm still trying to catch my breath, but yeah, a bit of karma, as you say, Connery, sorry. As we're just waiting for the results to come up, and I'll leave you to it to take us through it, Connery.
All right, thank you very much. And Yayovsky wins this race, and that's not what I was expecting to say inside those final 3 laps. That's for certain. Sasha Gawler coming home with P2. Gerardo Ramos in P3, Chris Robertson P4, Simon Edwards comes home with a top 5 finish after a bit of contact at the front of the field. Martin Ewan in P6 with Lee Anderson P7. You see Cristobal Otero P8, Ben Snell in P9, and Borja Zazo rounds out the top 10 finishers here today. You have Daniele Fogherini in 11th. You've got Nick Thyssen in 12th. Majazinski in P13. Andy Witt finishes 14th with Marco Dereks 15th. Sarah Savage in 16th place. We got Svein Duas in 17th place, and then you have 2 cars many laps down. Christian Perez and Tim Garkuga in that P18 and P19 spot respectively. But we need to take a little bit of a breather after that one, that's for certain. But don't go away, because we'll be right back with the post-race show in just after this.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was always fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos or danger until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race. so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all will be kept in the pits. Not to mention that with members in over 130 countries already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series and work your way up to one of 7 world championships, offering over $500,000 in prize money. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the post-race show here on RaceSpot TV's Friday primetime. What a race we've had here at Brands Hatch for week 3 of the Skip Barber race series. I'm Connery Maddock, I'm joined by Ryan Walker, but Ryan, oh my word, that finish, that was pretty awesome.
There's only one word I can use to describe that last lap, and that was just epic. I mean, yeah, it was. I think at the start we had a three-way fight for the win, and then there was only one winner that could come out of it, and yeah, Erhan Jazowski managed to take the win in the final corner with what looked like a bit of netcode, I believe. But yeah, absolutely awesome race. Yeah, I'm glad I commentated on that. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm certainly glad I'm also here as well. As you can just see the finishing results up on screen for you now. You see Jajowski taking the race win by about 0.4 of a second over Sasha Golet. Of course, Ramos involved in everything at the front of the field here today as well. So he certainly was one that could have come away with this race win, but we'll see a recap of that final lap. You can just see it's basically these two for the vast majority of the opening portion of this. But it was their battling and their scrapping that really allowed Jajowski to really reel them in and be able to take the race win from under both their noses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jazowski was he wasn't really anywhere for most of the race, but these guys battling up at the front allowed him to slowly but surely close that gap. And yeah, I thought he would have been on for a top 3, but yeah, he was there to pick up the pieces and took the win. And I think it might have surprised him even, but that was a great race nevertheless, and I have to say that's the best race I've watched so far this season.
Yeah, and you can just see Sasha Golet going for the big move around the outside at Hawthorns, which has worked on so many occasions, but on this one, Ramos able to just keep his nose in for Westfield and force Golet wide, and he basically loses it right there and then on the grass and in the gravel, coming through that middle part of the lap. And then it was Jajowski. He needed to do it, well, he's basically waiting his entire race to be able to get himself involved in the battle, but he's able to do it when it matters the most. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of contact coming through Clark curve. We'll just get that one slowed all the way down, just a bit of a tap to the rear left of the race leader. And Gajowski, of course, has to put that out of the mind, charge to the line, and ask no questions. But yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, just watching the replay now from the rear of Ramos's car, and just like you say, Conrad, just a bit of contact. Nothing malicious in it, just a racing incident. And yeah, as you say, I think Gajowski just has to put out of his mind and not let it get to him for future races. But it's just it can happen in any series, especially the Skip Barber, just because everyone is so close to, people are just so close together. Even it's just it's an easy mistake to make. But yeah, it's still a great race nevertheless.
Yeah, we've been treated to a great one here today, and well, that's going to be all that we have time for. That was week 3 at Brands Hatch here for the Skip Barber Race Series on RaceSpot TV, on the iRacing Esports Network as well. I've been Connery Maddock, I've been joined by Ryan Walker, Paul Smith behind the scenes doing all of that sort of magic, and we'll see you guys same time, same place next week.